What
just real quick before we hop off here, there was a couple of rumors on X, on Twitter, whatever your fancy is on what you want to call that particular
Twitter.
app, that that there might be more guys staying than we think
I
with
saw
the
that
Texas
rumor.
Longhorns. Did you see that? And I don't know whether or not to believe it. And particularly, I
Who
think
are
they
the
were
rumors?
referencing offensive skill position players that would be staying, without naming any names. I think they were alluding to Jatavian, which is interesting. I don't believe that's going to happen, but we certainly wouldn't say no to it. So,
I mean, in my opinion, I like he's gonna be a late first round, early second round pick. Like that's we've seen his value there, and he's another guy who had injury this year. And once you get shaken up once, like you don't want it to happen again, and you want to go out and collect a bag in the NFL. I mean, NIL aside, you're never gonna make more money than you would in the NFL.
I think
And
people are talking maybe about 80, not to cut you, Nick, but people are talking about 82. See, I think you could lump him in here, Nick.
that's also another head scratcher, because it's like you've accomplished literally almost everything that you need to accomplish. You've won 2 natties on your way to a third for 2 universities. You've worked your way into mock drafts that have put you in the first round of the NFL draft. Like, I really don't know how much more you can achieve in college football. If you're trying to be like a top 15 wide receiver taken in the draft, but I don't really know much more he can do to get there. Like, he's not Marvin Harrison Jr. like that. Like, he's talented, but I think those are the guys that are like clear cut, like going top 5. And I don't know the 80s clear cut, leaps and bounds going to be the top 5 go get him freak that people want to trade up for. But in my opinion, like, I think you just kind of let this play out and see what happens at the end of the season. But if I had my money on it, like, the only guy that I can really see staying is Jonathan Brooks. And obviously, like, there's no guarantee that he even stays. Like, if he might have said, okay, I tore my ACL, but I'll bounce back, and I'll let a team take me in the 3rd round, and I'll work for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I had my pick, it's a good point to bring up. If I had my pick of guys to stay, of like, underclassmen who could, discluding Quinn, who, as of now is staying, I would probably say Byron Murphy, honestly. Keep that interior like intact. Where you're going to lose sweat. I would no shake on 80 Mitchell, who was my MVP of the year. No shake on Jatavian Sanders. I think we're going to get Brooks back because of the injury. But having Byron Murphy back with all these edge rushers and all these edge pieces, how great he was this year, I actually think he could continue to take his value up.
And he's probably right now projected as a 3rd round draft pick.
3rd or 4th round pick.
Yeah.
But
so you have you become the guy at Texas. You have another year like you did this year, where you get ranked, in the tops of PFF's rankings. You work your way to 1st or early 2nd.
He's the number one.
That's a difference of millions of dollars.
He's the number 1 in passing and interior alignment. He was number 2 overall behind Sweat, but he was number 1 in the passing game in the interior alignment.
I think his knock, and this is nothing that he can work on, is size. I don't think he's the biggest, at his position. I think he's a little undersized for what he is. I mean, you put him next to Sweat, and like, he kind of, looks like I would next to Sweat.
Yeah, but like, you know what? But we've met Aaron Donald up close and personal, and that guy was just a moose. So like, you could always continue to develop your skills and develop your game. So if I could pick one guy to come back, I think that would be an exciting pick for me. Him. And for him, like look, no shake on the Big 12, but like, we know how people value the offensive lines, the SEC, particularly the interior offensive line. Like, I think that him coming back and playing some of the top interior guys in the SEC, I think that can only even increase his value.
Yeah. But regardless, I want what's best for these guys. At the end of the day, it's cool to put a bunch of boys in the class and let them, get drafted, and that looks good on us, and that continues to have recruits want to come in here. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if you missed it, we've got a record-setting early enrollees for 2024. It's going to be awesome. That just means more time, getting acclimated to the system. Spring football is pivotal. It's huge. I mean, if you don't know what spring football is like, it's a really good place for you to bond with your teammates, for you to really kind of figure out what you need to work on. It's for the coaching staff to really get a true identity, for who's going to be their starters next year. You go through a lot of trials and tribulations. You fight with your teammates. You work with your teammates. You love your teammates. And at the end of the day, like, I think spring football is huge, and to have all those guys coming in here to play with this team, it's gonna set up for big success next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Really well said. All right, gents. It was a pleasure and an honor, as always. I'll see you guys soon. Tomorrow, that being fans out there listening, hook 'em horns. We'll see you guys next time. Fisher Sopples, DJ, Nikki Snacks Rider. Quan will be back, like Nick said at the top of the show this week. So get excited with our special guest, Hook 'em horns. See you guys next time.